What's going on, Patriots? Trying to get settled in over here. I noticed as I was setting up, I noticed the news story, right? So, and the one that I'm talking about here is the one that they put out. Trump disqualified. Democrats are just very good at losing. That's exactly what I call this live right now, because it seems to me like they're trying to lose. Like, you can't be this bad unintentionally. Like, dude, they absolutely suck on every level so bad. No matter what they're doing, they cannot get it accomplished. Period. I don't give a damn what it is. I don't care if it's the border. I don't care if it's taking gas stoves. I don't give a damn what it is. It seems like they can't get a damn thing accomplished. They suck. They suck at everything. They lose at everything. 90 plus indictments on Trump. 90 plus, right? Who the hell has 90 plus indictments for anything? 90? They're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, and they're trying to see what's going to stick. It's not going to stick. None of them are going to stick. Now they're trying to take him off the ballot in Maine. I mean, I just don't know how many times you get to lose. I mean, how fun is it for you to constantly lose at every damn thing you do and still have some mashed potato brain followers out there willing to say, you know, we're riding with Biden? Like, who the hell says that? Tell me anything at all that this, you know, like I said, oatmeal brains has ever done for the country, or anything he's done since he's been in office. There's not one accomplishment. There are accomplishments, even, and as bad as I hate to say, as much as I hate to say it, there are even accomplishments Obama rather, could tout as a president. There were like two good things I can remember. I couldn't believe that he did, because I don't like giving him credit for it, but I'm an honest guy. There were complete departments of the government that he shrunk, DOB and such. So yeah, I mean, there were things that he did that I had to say, okay, we should have did that. Even the worst of presidents have at least one accomplishment they can tout, not this guy. Now he weaponizes the DOJ against a sitting president after the former president's wife, talking about Michelle Obama, felt it necessary to make calls, because she had a backline in Twitter too. I don't know how many people know this, but Michelle Obama was at the heart of having Trump thrown off Twitter. I mean, think about that. Think of how much the left, has influence over the federal government, the state governments at every level, it seems. Because look at all these DAs, George Soros appointed guys that don't want to do their job. The streets are unsafer for it. The border's unsafer. Everything costs more. You can't name an accomplishment that this president has that he can sit there and showcase. Like, what the hell is he going to run on? I mean, the things that I hear, I mean, just wackadoos. I mean, absolute wackadoos say about Trump. Biden rather. Like, the things that they actually say to try to defend him, they're 99.999. I'm going to give it like a little 0.00001 chance that some of them may be correct. I've never heard them, but they suck. It's plain and simple. Disqualifying a president from being on the ballot just says one thing: we are scared. We're absolutely frightened of what the hell this guy's going to do as soon as he gets in office. What is he going to do? Who is he going after? Am I on that list? I lied on him. I set him up. When he gets into office, all of the documents, all of the cases, all of the who told who to do what shit, all that stuff becomes absolutely open to him. He has access to it. So heads are going to roll. Damn right, heads are going to roll. So many people are talking about, well, we're going to leave if Trump gets elected. Please do. Please do. Just leave right now. Get a head start. Share. Who else said it? Bill Gates said it. Hillary even said it. Bill Clinton said it. I mean, God, if that's all it takes to get rid of these commie bastards, go ahead, leave. I'm perfectly okay with that. And so are most Americans. And I say most, easily the majority of Americans are okay with that. See, the Democrats like to play this game of optics. It's optics. It's optics when you turn on the news that they're anywhere near the numbers that the people on the right are. It's optics that there are all these disenfranchised bad things happening that they need to champion, because they're really not. They're absolutely not. It's not true. It's not true. It's actually funny that they can find people that know the truth of their circumstances. They actually know the real truth of their circumstances. And yet, instead of being a man or a woman or just an adult and going and standing on your own 2 feet and figuring life out, you would rather petition a government that needs your vote by using your whatever it is, either it be your race, your gender, nationality, whatever the case is. You would rather use those things than go out and bust your ass like everybody else and go get it the right way. You like a system that gives you a guaranteed win on the other side of it, because a guaranteed win means you don't have to work as hard. That's what it means. That's exactly what it means. And to be quite honest with you, I don't understand why more Americans don't see it this way. And then why in the hell is it that someone who points it out and just says, hey, look at the things that you guys are doing. Look at the things you're not doing. Look at how you're raising your kids. I saw a video the other day of some children in looked to be like a fast food restaurant. And when I say children, I'm talking 6, 7, 8-year-olds on the tables dancing as if they were imitating strippers. I can't believe the shit that I'm seeing on a daily basis, just flipping through my Twitter feed. And there should, guys, listen. When everything became relative, when morality became relative, when standards became relative, when right and wrong became relative, that's when these things took center stage. That's when they were able to come in and confuse people about what should be. Oh, we're free, so we're free to do this. We're free, so we're free to do that. Misusing freedom, completely misusing it to the point where they got our entire society turned on its head. I watched a video the other day of a brave mother standing in front of a bathroom stall, blocking a full-grown man with a beard from going into the restroom where her 12-year-old daughter was using the bathroom. And she had to literally stand there by force, keep this man out of the restroom area so her daughter could use the bathroom. In what world was there a person behind her filming that and not standing right beside her, blocking this guy from being able to get into the restroom? Why was it a mother's sole responsibility to stand there and block this ingrate from getting into the restroom where her 12-year-old daughter is? In what world is that okay, people? Thinking something is so does not make it so. I can have a $1 bill in my hand. Here, let's pull it. Have a little experiment. So I have a $1 bill in my hand. If I think that it's $100 bill, it is not. It is still a $1 bill. No matter what the hell I do, it is a $1 bill. Plain and simple. I don't give a damn what you think you are. What you are trumps what you think you are. That simple. You're not going to be one of those people that use my compassion against me as a way to trick me, as a way to make me back off of a certain statement or feeling that I've espoused. I don't give a shit. I don't care what you think. I don't give a damn what your proclivities are behind your doors at home. Go ahead, be whatever you want. I don't care what you dress up like. I don't care what you do in your free time. I really don't give a damn. But there are societal norms and standards that we are going to 100% stand by and make sure are adhered to. You're not going to the bathroom with my daughter. You're not going in the bathroom with my mother. You're not going in the bathroom with grandmother, aunt, cousin, niece, none of that. It's not happening. And the saddest part is that mothers are the ones that are standing in front of the restrooms and defending it. The video I saw, the guy was actually just recording a woman as she did it. Another video I saw was one where a young man tried to get access to a woman's locker room area and what appeared to be a college or high school setting, maybe. And in that high school or college setting, what you saw was you saw a young black female standing up for her rights as a woman. And what you saw on the other side was a full-blown man. I mean, he must have been 18, 19. Completely pissed off at the fact that this woman was standing up and telling him he could not use the woman's facilities, that she didn't feel comfortable with that. He beat her terribly. Now, he beat her in the company of what looked to be about 50 or 60 people. One man stood up, and one man got between him and her, and he was absolutely fine beating this female. He had no problems at all beating on this female. When the man knocked him straight on his ass, all of a sudden, look on his face just changes. People, at what point, let me ask this. Let me ask it like this. Where's the line? Where's the line? Where's your personal line? Where's the one that you're going to say, you know what, you crossed this line, it's on. Where's everyone's line at? Because my line was crossed a long time ago. It was crossed a long time ago. And that's what's so damn confusing about all of this. As looking out at it, I'm just sometimes I'm completely befuddled at the fact that in so many cases that women are standing up where men aren't. I know for a fact that there have been, most of the videos that I've seen, there are people that are willing to stand up and step up and do the right thing. And most of the videos I've seen are females. And here's the thing. They have no problems putting their hands on females, and men have no problem picking up their phones and recording it. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. So the question remains, what is your line? Where is it? When are you going to stand up? When are you going to buck the system? When are you going to get involved? What's it going to take? What is it going to take before people realize, hey, these are kids. There should be a line, and that line should be right at children. To me, having, I don't know, cross-dresser story time at the school is tantamount to going down and allowing the strip clubs to empty out and bringing them to the school for career day. That's what it is to me. That's what I see. That's what most people see. Because I don't understand why a man dressed like a woman twerking in front of young kids as at all anything that they need to see or need to know about. Like, I have if you're a parent and you think that's okay, that used to be something CPS would be very interested in knowing about you before they let you keep your kid. But I live in a world, unfortunately, we all live in a world where people are completely and utterly cowards. They're cowards. They don't want to say half of this stuff. Nobody wants to stand up and be counted amongst those who stood up in a time of moral crisis and took a side and didn't ride the fence and said what needed to be said when it needed to be said. Because I guarantee you, in about less than 2-3 years from now, we're going to be looking back on all these events, and there are going to be plenty of people to saying, yeah, I never did agree with that. Well, what did you do about it? What did you do about it? What did you say about it openly? Did you tell anyone that you didn't agree with it? Or is that something you just kept to yourself? Because me and a lot of people like me are willing to go out there and do it. We're willing to come on here and do it. We're willing to say it wherever the hell people will listen. This is absolutely wrong. And it needs to stop. It needs to stop yesterday, beyond yesterday. People, we don't live in a world where we get to decide based on how we feel who we are. We're told that at birth. We're told that when we get, when we're born, we're told what we are. We don't tell anybody what we are. You can definitely see that there are attacks on the value system of the United States of America, complete attacks. There are people that are willing to come and upend everything that you love, feel, and believe in order to put theirs in place of where yours were. And that's the problem. That is the complete problem, because they tell you they're being attacked. They tell you they're being oppressed. They tell you all of these things about how they are disenfranchised. But the reality of it is they're not. They're absolutely not disenfranchised. They're not in any of those things. What they are is they're in a country that allows them to be who they are. And we live in a country that has certain standards that make sure that society, the place outside your front door, has certain standards to make sure your little girl, your mom, your niece, daughter, nephew, whatever the hell, whoever, your family, they're safe. They're safe when they go out. You don't have to worry about guys with beards running in the little girl's room. Even as I'm saying this, and I'm streaming this on multiple platforms. And I'm monitoring each one because I know the woke ones. I know who they are. And I watch the numbers on the live rise, and they start going up. They get 50, 60, 70, 100, 200, and they start rising. And then all of a sudden, when they realize what I'm saying, what I'm reporting on, what I'm talking about, you watch the numbers decrease. Because why? Because they want to be the purveyors of what information gets relayed to the public. And unfortunately, we have a system that allows them to do that, because Section 230 gives them the ability to decide to discriminate against someone based on their political affiliation, beliefs, whatever the case may be. But they can do it legally. Even when the Fifth Circuit of the District Court agreed that the Biden administration overstepped its bounds and violated your First Amendment rights by the findings in the Twitter files, it didn't matter, because the social media companies as a whole still have the ability to say what is and what is not misinformation, and they don't even have to explain it. They don't even have to tell you. I'm on my third Facebook account. Third. Why? Not because of not because of real misinformation, not because of anything other than some reason they can't tell me. They can't figure it out. Even when they tell me I win the appeals and things like that, and my inability to run ads or to do anything basically on there. I had well over 1 million person reach at one point on that other platform. And now on that particular account on that other platform, I have about a 5,000 person reach, even though many more people than that follow me on that account. That's exactly what it is we're trying to fight against, people. And I don't think people understand the significance of what Elon Musk did when he bought X. When he bought X, he broke the system. He broke it because they have the Mockingbird media completely under their spell. Do you think that you hear the real news? No, you hear a bunch of posturing and people walking up to the line of reporting real news, but they stop just short on Fox, CBS, CNN, ABC, NBC, and all the like. They stop short of telling you the real news and the news behind the news. Does it seem to you that they seem to be just repeating all of the same words all the time. It doesn't matter what station you're on, where you change to. Are they not stating the same things over and over and over again? Why? Because they're being told what to say, folks. You're not idiots. Come on. We are way smarter than what they tend to think that we are. Or maybe they just don't give a damn. Maybe that's what this whole thing is. White noise comes out and then the train crashes in East Palestine, Ohio. And now what? I don't know what the name of the movie is. The one that Obama just put out, I think Behind, or what is it called? Let's look it up. Movie Obama. Let's see what it was called. Leave the World Behind. So in this movie, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't mind the movie. The movie seemed to be pretty cool movie. But when you start weighing it against what's going on, like the disease that the deer just came up with, well, that was on the other side of this movie. I mean, it's not exactly the same as in the movie, but it does happen in the movie. And then what? A giant cyber attack that takes down the internet from everywhere. So, I mean, when you look at that, I mean, do you remember the speech that Obama gave not long ago where he says, all you have to do is flood the mainstream media with enough mal, and disinformation to where nobody knows what to believe? They're telling you the quiet part out loud. It's like when Joe Biden said that, we'll take care of that pipeline. 2 weeks later, the pipeline's blown up, but we didn't do it. They tell you everything they're going to do before they do it. They say it. They don't hide it. They do not hide it. I mean, all those misspeaking little events that Biden has, they want to call them gaffes. They're not gaffes. I look at them more like Freudian slips. That's what they are, Freudian slips. When he says in his gaffe that he sold state secrets, like, no one challenged him on that. Like, no one came back and said, hey, sir, you said that you sold secrets. Well, that should be the first question any real journalist would ask after the president of the United States gets on stage and says that in a speech. But that's not what they did. That's not what they did. And it's never what they do. So what? Are we to believe that they know that the president is simply a figurehead and that they understand something that we don't? Because that's what it appears to be. Now, I may be talking a little conspiratorially at this point, yes. But, in some cases, if I see you grab the flour, the eggs, the milk, yeast, whatever, I know you're baking something. I don't know what, but I see that you grab the ingredients to do it. And that's what I'm looking at here. You back up a little bit and you look at exactly what this administration and the left as a whole have done. They've created charges to throw against Donald Trump that did not exist. They took Alvin Bragg took a charge that was beyond the statute of limitations, bootstrapped it to a new charge in order to make a whole nother charge that he could then file with. You have the fraud case where they're trying to tell Donald Trump that he falsely increased the worth of his homes in order to obtain a business loan. Now, the definition of fraud means someone has to be defrauded out of something. There has to be a victim, right? In order for there to be fraud, someone must be defrauded. Well, the bank was paid back in full. And what did they try to say that the house was worth? It was $18 million. Mar-a-Lago was worth $18 million. Well, a very simple Zillow search will come up right in the same area of Mar-a-Lago as another property with no home on it, no nothing, just basically beachfront property just sitting there. $200 million. $200 million for that, when Trump's property is much larger and the landscaping and the home and 100 and some odd rooms. And people, what you're looking at is the weaponization of the federal government against one man. And it's not just him, because if they can do it to him, they can do it to you and me. The fight is much bigger than you and I even realize it is. It's much larger than what you and I realize it is. Because if they can get to him, they can get to you and me. And that's a fact. If they can do it to him, you are next. I am next. We know for a fact that they didn't, that he did not do the things that they tried to say he did. Now, even going back to the and put I was just reading the comment, guys. You got to excuse me. But yeah, I mean, you look at the things that they have tried to make look like they're true, and none of them are. None of them are. Even the sexual assault case, or the E. Jean Carroll one, right? So this lady comes and she says that she was sexually assaulted by Trump. Enter Trump. 7 years later, let's take a look at all the facts about this case. Her case, the suit, and the lawyer that she used to file the suit was paid for by a anti-Trumper who found her and paid for her legal case against Trump. So there's that. She couldn't tell you when she was assaulted. She couldn't tell you the details of the assault. Now, I'm no woman or anything like that, but I mean, as a human being, I would think that one of the most traumatic things that could happen to you is something like that. And as someone who has, and you know, I mean, not to duck and hide from it, but yeah, I mean, there were incidents in my life, like most people have suffered, where we have little bouts of PTSD where you endure or go through something that is so pivotal in your life. There's no way in hell you're not going to be able to know when or what in every single detail of that moment. It's like it's frozen in time in your brain. But she couldn't. She couldn't tell you what happened. She couldn't tell you where it happened inside of the department store. She couldn't tell you what year it happened. That's how bad this is. She couldn't even tell. So, yeah, I mean, it gets hard when you're looking at someone you know for beyond any shadow of any doubt has gone out of their way to defend this country, who's gotten poorer in the process. Not that he's a poor man. He's anything but a poor man. Thank God, because now this gives him the wherewithal to deal with some of these legal problems that they're creating to throw his way. But, you know, most of these guys that come into office are not worth millions until they leave. Look at Nancy Pelosi, millions of dollars. Elizabeth Warren, millions of dollars. AOC was just a bartender. I mean, her now, she makes a lot of money, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, you name the person, Obama. You name the person who went through, became the president of the United States and got poorer afterwards. I'll wait. It happened a long time ago. Not in modern history. Why? Well, because these guys get in office and the lobbyists, the K Street people, they'll cater to special interests. They'll cater to lobbyists. They'll give them whatever. They will sell their souls to these people because they think that they are the ones that get them reelected. The reason the establishment is so up in arms right now is because they're seeing something take place that they haven't seen in a very long time. You got to figure, like, Donald Trump is so completely polarizing that his presence and what he did as a president transcends the amount of money they can spend to beat him. That's the reality of it. His presence, who he is, what he's done in his record transcends the amount of money the lobbyists are trying to put behind people like Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis and Biden to try and upend Trump's presidency. See, this was the main reason why when they switched the Speaker of the House, when Matt Gaetz and the America First Caucus got together and decided that it was time to put America first for real and get this guy out of there who is just nothing more than a damn rhino. I don't care what anyone says. I've talked to people in my circles that like the guy, that some that don't like the guy, that understand. But what you got to understand is this: the amount of spending that happens in our government is beyond out of control. And here it is, the omnibus bill comes around. There's several $100 million in this bill. And what is he going to do? He was just going to run it through. Well, no, that's not the agreement you had. Well, not only that, you don't go make a backroom deal with the enemy about sending money, more money over for the proxy war, which is Ukraine. Are you kidding? We're defending democracy with a guy who won't even. Tell me how that's democracy. Tell me how that's democracy when this same guy won't even allow people to worship. If they're Christian, they can't worship the way that they want to. They have a prescribed orthodoxy that has been put together by Zelensky's team as he was president. Now he's got a state-run media. It sounds a lot like Putin to me, if you ask me. But to hear them say it, they're protecting democracy. They're spreading democracy. Democracy, my ass. There's no democracy over there. If there was democracy, we would be holding elections. If there was democracy, we'd be holding elections. And in democracies, don't get me wrong, democracy has been used, the term, over and over and over and over again. What it means is mob rule. What it means is majority rule, really, is what it means. But you have to account for mass hysteria when people are they are bankrupting our country, Sherry. They're bankrupting it. And here's the thing. It is exactly the same as it was during World War II. The faces are different. The people are different, but the actions are exactly the same. During World War II, when they're over there fighting the Nazis, we would not allow a Nazi protest to go down the middle of New York City streets or Los Angeles or any of that. But where they failed us is in mass immigration and the fact that they don't enforce the law universally. So now we used to let 1 million people in this country per year. Per year, we let 1 year. We let 1 million people in per year. That's what the number was. We're up damn near like 8-9 million at this point. To get different numbers depending on who you talk to, but their numbers, even showing their gotaways and the ones that they counted coming in, puts us way up over. We had 12,000 encounters 4 Tuesdays back, like a month ago, which set a world record. Like never, ever, ever have we had that many encounters at the border. We've had people come to our border and put up their country's flag like they're taking the United States like this. We have them online talking about the fact that they're colonizing the states. Said they colonized us long enough. Now these are speeches being made over in Iran. These are speeches being made in Iraq. There's speeches being made by Hezbollah and other Muslim countries. They're saying, the West has colonized us long enough. We're going to colonize them. So what do you think this big immigration push is? Why is it that even Benjamin Netanyahu the other day decided that he was going to start sending a lot of these refugees over to the Western countries? Well, why doesn't Jordan and Egypt and any of those other people want to take those people? Why? Because let me tell you why. The Palestinians tried to assassinate the Jordan leader. They did the same thing in Egypt and caused a big coup. They got thrown out of both countries. They denied statehood 7 times. They don't want a 2-party solution. They don't want to get along with anybody. Their whole, and I'm talking about the Palestinian people. I'm not just talking about Hamas, because I don't differentiate between the two. Those were Palestinian people spitting on that young girl who was raped and drugged through the streets dead. Those were Palestinian people cheering after 9/11 when the towers fell. Those are Palestinian people who put Hamas in charge. Those are Palestinian people in Hamas. So you tell me how Palestine and Hamas are separate or different. Like you can differentiate. You can't differentiate. The only people over there that are innocent are the ones that are not old enough to be able to make their own decisions. Children are children. I don't give a damn. Right, left, in between, none of that. Unfortunately, you have a bunch of people over there that are using children as propaganda shields that started a war that they don't want to finish. Now all of a sudden we hit you. Now we're going to run and hide behind this, and and then the whole world starts yelling for ceasefire. Hold up, ceasefire. No, this is never going to happen again. That's the mindset of the guys in Israel right now. Never going to happen again. And then we have a traitorous leader in our midst, I believe, completely, my opinion, but he gives $100 million to Palestine for hospitals. The same hospitals that have all of the tunnels underneath them that store all the weapons. Who's the administration in Palestine that is going to direct that $100 million that Joe gave them to the right places to where they can circumvent Hamas? Who's that? Because that doesn't exist. When he gave them $100 million, he gave it to Hamas. That's the way it works. That's what happened. Those people out there did not get that $100 million. It went directly to Hamas. Just like the $6 billion in Iran that he paid the ransom money. What do you think's going to happen there? What do you think they use that money for? They already made statements that the United States, they're too caught up. No one cares about the United States. This is what Iran said. Like literally, we have come across at this point so weak. We've allowed over 100 attacks on U.S. soldiers in the Middle East at this point. We hit back a base or two. We've had American hostages killed. Where's the line? Where's the line? And when are we going to say someone's stepped over it? When are we going to do anything? When are we actually going to stand up and say, you know what? I'm done over empathizing with you guys. I'm done sympathizing. I'm done letting you call me cruel because I want to shut the border down and I don't give a damn about who's on the other side of it or why they want to get in, because they want to make that sound cruel. If you say that out loud, they want to make sure that you know that you're a cruel person, and that is so incompassionate. It is too compassionate. It's the compassion you have for your country. It's the compassion you have for your children. It's the compassion that you have for your community. What's wrong is when we, as a country, throw our own communities to the side to start investing in people that weren't born here. They don't belong here. They just do not belong here. Plain and simple. I happen to live in a place where illegal immigration is rampant, in Nevada. It's rampant. All through Texas, Arizona, all this whole portion of the United States, all the way over to California. It's rampant. It's terrible. It doesn't help the country. You think that we're better for being more diverse? Diversity is good, yes, so that you understand culture. But the problem is when your style of diversity, your kind of diversity has taken it so far as to upend and throw the other culture that you should be acclimating to in the trash to replace it with your own. That's not a good thing. And this is what's happening. This is why we see in our school system, why is it that all the kids that go to, let's say, the poison Ivy League colleges, they come out talking like Marxists. They come out thinking like Marxists, just like our old buddy Obama's best buddy. What's his name? William Ayers. William Ayers runs the Weatherman Underground Group, kills 2 officers, bombs the Pentagon, and then comes out of prison and goes to school. He's a college professor in New York. I mean, how in the hell is that possible? How? Like, you're a murderer? Yeah, come teach our kids. I don't get it. And what I don't get is why there are not more people out there asking the same question. Why aren't there more people out there who give a damn? Why aren't there more people out there to say, I don't care what happens to me. I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to say what's right. I don't care if it's political. I don't care if the people outside get offended at what I'm saying. If it's true, I'm going to say it. It's only when the silent majority continues to be silent that they're able to get away with the things that they get away with. Because if you stood up and you spoke up at every turn, no matter where you're at, I don't give a damn if you're in church, court, I don't care where you're at. When they say their opinion, you're perfectly within your rights to say yours. They get away with this stuff because you don't. They get away with this because yeah, I mean, Sherry, I'm seeing your comments. So here, let me address it. So you say, who started Hamas and who started ISIS? Well, they're two different people, right? So there is a line of thought that says Israel started Hamas, right? So Hamas was deemed a terror organization in 87, 88, right? And that's a fact. The rest of it is kind of conspiratorial. I'm not quite sure of the ramifications or what people thought they were. The United States started Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda was just a name. It was an acronym for a database in Afghanistan. We created freedom fighters over there. We called Al-Qaeda. The database was called Al-Qaeda to help fight off the Russians in the 70s. That's where that came from. ISIS was created by Obama, in my opinion, because under Obama, he started sending money to people he called rebels. But in fact, what happened were those same rebels that he was arming and giving money to, when the power vacuum was there because of what we did in Iraq, tried to fill that power vacuum. And that's how you ended up with ISIS. This is what happens when you engage in nation building. This is what happens when you don't mind your own business as a country. But they'll say, no, you're an isolationist. America first is a Nazi statement. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. Feed your kids. Take care of your life. Take care of your community, your country. And when people come and they are willing to add value to your country, when they come into our country and they're willing, they have a skill that's needed, when they are willing to come in and be American, when we have a value system that they are willing to sign on to and not try to up in. What we can have are people walking around with visas in the United States from a third world country, coming over here, marching through the streets, causing a problem, and then going back to school because we let them. No, we need to kick every damn one of those people out of here. And those pro-Hamas rallies, what I call anti-Semite gang rallies, and get them the hell out of here and back to their own country. Why is it that's so divisive? Why? Why are we so scared as a people? I mean, really, are we that scared as damn people that we're so afraid to say what's right because we're too afraid of what people might think? Land of the free, home of the brave. I know there are a lot of people like me out there. And it's amazing to me. It is absolutely amazing to me that you guys have been this quiet for this long. I'm not telling you to go out there and do anything that you shouldn't do. Far from peacefully and patriotically, right? That's what we need to be on. But here's the but. If you care about your country, you're going to stand up for it, but don't let them hoodwink you, because don't make no mistake about it. The federal government has been trying for the longest time to make sure that people that are out there and get things organized to a point where they start getting some notoriety. Let's say the Proud Boys, for instance, what did they do? They immediately started deeming them to be like some kind of a white supremacist group, even though the guys are not even white. I mean, you got the left is kind of a weird animal. That, I mean, they tried to deem Ben Shapiro as a Nazi. I've heard them call black people white supremacists. It's crazy. And now they're trying to take Trump off the ballot again in Where was it? In Maine. Yeah. I mean, it's never going to work, people. It's like it's like the offset of this whole thing. Like, the Democrats lose so much and so often, and they do it so well. It makes you have to question yourself at some point and say, are they intentionally doing this? Are they intentionally make it look like they're fighting against something that they know they're going to lose, and they're intentionally losing? It's like the setup in the old WWE wrestling. You have the good guy and the bad guy, and they're out there playing a role because they know none of these damn things are going to stand. There's first of all, when they had the impeachment hearing over this issue, it was already decided that that's not what he did. He did not break the 14th Amendment, and that was why he didn't get impeached. That was the main reason why he didn't get impeached. So why are they out there right now trying to make it seem as if that's what's going on, or that's what he did, and they're able to do these things? No, why? It's okay though. It's okay. Let them do them, because when they're doing these things, they're exposing themselves. They're telling you who they are. They're telling you what they believe in. They're telling you how far they're willing to go. But it also is a sign. It's a sign that, those of you waiting for the revolution, it's here. What are you waiting for? It's happening. It's happening right now. That's what this is. That's what this is. And the whole time, what they're trying to do is keep the people in the middle calm, while they're waging an information war all around you and trying to make you think things that aren't true. They're trying to tell you that Nikki Haley is gaining in the polls, and she's not. She's not. They're trying to tell you that Biden has a chance against President Trump. He doesn't. He doesn't. No, not in a million. He doesn't have an. Listen. I don't think there is an election that man can run. I think that his second presidency is going to be even worse than the first if he were able to obtain it, which he will not be able to. It's like Weekend at Bernie's in the damn White House. It's like prop him up with sticks at this point. I mean, a dead man can't speak any worse than what he already does. Trying to disqualify Trump from Maine and Colorado. I mean, this is really asinine. I mean, you can't tell me, like, the Maine Secretary of State, let's check it out. So Maine's Democratic Secretary of State Thursday disqualified former President Trump from the state's presidential primary ballot. Now, the decision follows a ruling by the Supreme Court earlier this month, which booted Trump from the ballot under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Colorado is a Democratic-leaning state that is not expected to be competitive for Republicans in November. Well, they said the same thing before about other presidents, Ronald Reagan, for instance. But he was coming in after Carter, and things were so bad, so messed up. You had Democrats voting Republican, which is what you're going to see this time. 25% of the minority vote in the black community now sits in Trump's corner, the most of any Republican candidate ever in history. In history. It's not, they have no options at this point but to go nuclear. They don't have any options but to go completely over the top, because they cannot win. They can't win. They are not going to beat Trump. They are not going to beat Trump. And when you see the turnout on election day, I guarantee you it's going to be a turnout like you have never, ever, ever seen in any election before. My prediction is that it will top a voter turnout will top any other election in history. In history. And, we do need to return to a time when there's paper ballots and a single day to vote, because I don't care how you shake it. I mean, when you got Runback Election Services in Arizona, owned by an elected official, there's a problem with that. There's absolutely a problem with that. Ben Tomas, who is an elected official. Now, even though he's a Republican, here's how true this is. This is just an example of the honesty that I'm telling you. I'm not agenda driven. Meaning like this. I care more about right and wrong than I do about right and left. Unfortunately, for the left, that means I'm 99.9% on the right because of the things that they've done over the last several years, because of the lies that they've told, because of the freedoms that they stole, because of the amount of people that died during the pandemic and the reaches that they went to make sure that people were deemed unessential when they had to go to work to pay for the rent for their family. Your job wasn't essential. Tell my family my job wasn't essential. All of the homeowners in this country that when the rent moratorium went into place, where, yeah, your rent went away, but their mortgage didn't go away. 2/3 of the small businesses closed down in California due to the way Gavin Newsom ran his state. People, these guys have no chance at winning. Zero chance. They know it. They know it. They absolutely know it. You know what? Trump could literally go into his basement and pull a Joe Biden and not come out until election day. He could absolutely win this election from a panic room if he went in there right now and didn't come out until January 9th. He could absolutely win this thing. But question remains, where's your line? Where is that line in the sand for you? If it's not at the female restroom, if it's not at the female locker room, if it's not CRT, if it's not what does it take? Is it colleges allowing pro-Hamas rallies? Is it the fact that we're allowing these people to be openly anti-Semitic and right out in public like it's okay? I mean, where's the line? I count several lines and they've crossed every one of mine. They're hypocrites. They're hypocrites. No one screams louder about racial inequality, about racism, about any of those things. No one screams louder than the left. Nobody. But here they are, completely quiet when you have men out there trying to erase women. I said it. That's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to erase women. You have women. There's a distinction for a reason. WNBA, NBA. If there weren't a distinction, we'd just all be NBA, period. And forget the W. What's the point of having a W? It's just the NBA. And then women will never get an opportunity ever again. Female runners, female swimmers, female weightlifters, all having their records completely stolen from them, having their accolades stolen from them, missing out on scholarships that they otherwise would have won if they would have came in third, but a male either finished first or second and forced somebody who was more deserving, and rightfully so, out of the running for said scholarships. It happens. It continually happens. It's not fair. What about the little girl being oppressed in a locker room that's told she can't say anything or do anything about the fact there is a male, full appendages, everything in the locker room, showering next to females, and they feel they're afraid. They're afraid. But we're not supposed to say anything because it's cruel. But cruel to who? Whose feelings are we protecting? Who are we protecting? I thought we were protecting the girls. I thought we were protecting the children. I thought we were keeping them from being oppressed, but we only care about less than 1% of the population. Has the tail wagged the dog this long? What the hell happened? Land of the free, home of the brave. I'm not so sure anymore, folks. I'm not so sure. Because either there's a lot more going on than what they're telling us, and they're just not showing us the people that are out there opposing what they're doing, trying to make you think that there are more people on their side doing than more people opposing, which is which is a possibility. It is very much a possibility. I worked for a couple of guys that ran for office, one who was in office, and one who was running for office. And I saw the political stunts just right up in front. And so I know the depths to which they go in these races, in these campaigns, to lie and or tell a mistruth. It's a truth, but it's given in such a way to it kind of changes on its face what they're actually talking about. I remember the guy that I was backing was he owned a construction consulting firm. And that construction consulting firm, I think we had essentially 20 people maybe that worked for us or something like that. But because of the amount of legal immigration and how many companies hire illegal immigrants in the construction field, they took that solid number for the state and then pinned it on him and said that he had employed over 100 some odd thousand illegal immigrants. And I'm like, there's only 20 of us. But this is the games they play. This is the games they play. Yeah, you saw that as well. I saw it too. I mean, if you watch the graphs, so if you take a graph from state to state to state, and you look at a certain or specific time of day, you'll notice during the election that the spike, the ebbs and flows match state to state. And like you said, I watched that same exact thing, and I believe I forget who was on Twitter that actually put the video out that actually showed it happening, that showed the vote just disappeared, just come off. I saw the video. I understand exactly what you're saying. But here's the thing. Even those things, which are absolutely true, we see people taking pictures of and videos that were released taking pictures of ballots as they're throwing them in the boxes, people pulling ballots out of the trunks of their car. We just saw 2 elections get overturned. An election get overturned in Connecticut, and then one that was previously overturned that was in North Carolina. That man went to jail, and I believe there are people that got in trouble in Connecticut too that ended up going to jail. So when you point these things out, that ballot harvesting has occurred, that it has happened, people have gotten in trouble for it, and it's not exclusively on the left. You know, everyone wants to stay silent. They got us so scared to talk about the realities of election integrity and the problems that we face, especially people that are doing what I'm doing. I've been told point blank, you can't talk about that. Like, that can't be brought up. I've gotten emails from social media companies that literally say you can't talk about that. This is your last strike. Think I listened? No. There are social media companies out there that will protect your free speech. Thank God for Twitter. Thank God for Twitter. That's why I'm telling you guys, it's what Elon Musk did was so historic. It was so pivotal because what he did, he disrupted the flow of information that they were controlling when they had 100% control of it. When you looked at the Twitter files and the information that they released, you got to realize, you think that it was just happening at Twitter? No, hell no. It was going on at Google. It's going on at NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, you name it. It's going on there. Yeah. This is why we call them the Mockingbird media. And the reason why is because it's what we're doing is it's a connotation relating back to a project that was a CIA project that was called Project Mockingbird. And if you understand the premise of that project, what they were trying to do is they were trying to get people they were trying to get people to believe lies. And they figured the best way to force the public to believe those lies is to continually repeat those lies over and over and over again. So even when you catch them ball-faced lying, their objective is to continue to stick with the lie. And not only stick with it, but have more people say the lie and never stop and never stop. That way, eventually, because they own the airwaves, they own the social media companies, and they can filter what information actually gets disseminated to the public, that the lies stick around way longer than the truth. And this is exactly why, like Section 702 of the FISA Act and these sorts of things, which was supposedly created specifically to spy on foreigners, foreign nationals, has been weaponized against the American public. And we saw 309 to like 180 the other day. It was amazing how many people continued 702. And I believe it's set to expire again in a few months. So petition your congressmen, senators, and like, and tell them, we want this gone. The American people need to be free again, to be able to, because it's just like what Bongino says, and that Dinesh D'Souza movie they just came out with, Kyle Seraphin and those guys put together, called The Police State. Amazing movie, and an amazing premise to that movie, just like the previous one that he had put out with the 2000 Mules. It is absolutely mind-blowing, the amount of information that was made public, and the video that was shown, and the truth that correlates to exactly what you see being acted out in public right now. And it seems like the most frustrating part for me is that I know this, you know this, so they know it too. And if they know it, and they know how wrong it is, like, why in the hell are we worried about what people vote on and don't vote on, or if a law is being misused, if a truth is not being told, if we're being played, if we're being put back in chains? When do the people on the right that are inside of the government right now decide to come out and actually like tell us exactly what's going on behind the scenes and what we need to get ready for? And the reality of it is just like, they keep playing the system, the establishment. This is the establishment way of doing things. This is the establishment laws. These are the establishment rules. But what happens when someone who's evil, someone who's just wrong, gets into the establishment, which is what happened, which is exactly what happened. And now they are misusing those laws, misusing those freedoms, misusing those statutes, misusing those bills in order to upend the things that make America, America, and then tell you're being unsympathetic when you call them liars, when you call them socialists, when you call them Marxists, when you tell them that you reject communism. And I'll go a step further than that. And I'll tell you this, and I mean this with all my heart, and this is a fact. This is not an opinion. This is 100% a fact. Socialism is sedition. It is sedition. You say, how? How can you say that? Very simply this. Socialism throws the free market in the garbage. Completely in the garbage. We are a capitalist country. The way that our Constitution and Bill of Rights are written is written to accommodate a capitalist society. One in which you are free to go out and innovate, be an entrepreneur, and do whatever it is that you want to do and pursue. And there's no glass ceiling. That's not what they push. We are a country of individuals, not them. They push, you belong to that group, you belong to that group. That's a good group, that's a bad group. How can you tell the difference? What color are they? That's who they are. But they call you racist. They call you sexist. They call you misogynistic. All those names. They cast aspersions at the right constantly cast aspersions at the right. When in fact, they are the ones whom are guilty. Like this whole idea that you can misgender somebody. Let's discuss it. Can you? Can you actually misgender someone? And is it truly offensive to the point that they're trying, to the degree that they're trying to make it seem offensive? And let me lay it out for you like this. I'm a Christian. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I literally believe those things that are written down in that Bible. And I believe them literally. Let me just put it like that. I believe them literally. So when you're coming, and so the main thing that means so much to people who are of faith is truth. 100% truth. So when you're coming to me as a Christian man and you're telling me that I must refer to you this way because that's what you have decided, you can't do that. Not with a Christian man, because we're not going to play the game. We're not participating. And I tell people that I've actually used that statement on many occasions. I'm not participating. It's that simple. It's that simple. I'm not referring to you with a plural pronoun. I'm not going to do it. And it's not because I'm being ignorant to you. God forbid. I don't even want to make fun, or I don't even like when I see other people doing that, kind of constantly putting people down and making fun of them for whatever malady that they have. Like, that is completely cruel. So I don't advocate for that either. But the thing that I'm advocating for is by me standing there and willfully taking your side on a specific issue and referring to you by the sex or gender to which you aren't, I'm throwing everything that I believe in the trash can. I might as well throw my Bible in there with it. So no, it's not respectful that you oppress everybody into calling you or referring to you by your preferred pronoun. It's not. It is absolutely not. And when I hear of people in other countries being put in jail because other countries have decided to pass laws to legislate your tongue, that is absolutely what they're going to end up doing, is getting the exact opposite in a harsh way. Because that's what happens. The pendulum rocks right, it rocks left, and each time it goes more. Just imagine this is a canoe. Right, left, right, and eventually the whole damn thing flips over. And I think that's about where we are right now. It's getting ready to flip. Everything they fought for, because of the way they did it and the lies they told and the people that were affected by it and the fear that's been driven into people's hearts by letting these people have and usurp the power that they have garnered in government, lets us know exactly what they would do if they were not, if their power was not kept in check. We know exactly what you would do if given the absolute authority and the absolute power to do it. Can you imagine right now if they had a congressional and a majority in the Senate right now? Oh my God. You wouldn't have gas, anything in your house. I don't even know what the rest of what they would do because the things that they're doing are so sick. There's such overreaches of power. I don't understand, when we got to a point where we started legislating the lives and thoughts of our citizens. When you're told constantly to speak up when things are wrong. Now they're telling you sit down and shut up. And I'm telling you not to listen. I'm telling you not to listen. What'd you say here, Sherry? So climate, like pharma, is all about money. Yeah, it is. It is. Imagine having a swear jar located in Paris. Right? This is how I refer to it. They have a swear jar in Paris, the Paris Climate Accord, right? They were so pissed off at Trump for getting out of the Paris Climate Accord, but swear jar is located in Paris. And every time you release a certain amount of emissions, they can tax you, they can fine you, they can do all these things. And all this money gets taken by these folks in the Paris Climate Accord, and they put in this big swear jar. Where's that money go? Because all of the climate studies have been done through all angles from all scientists in all places. And they all don't agree. Matter of fact, when push as hard as they can be pushed into a corner to give you just a 100% answer as to whether or not carbon in the air causes the temperature to increase, they get a resounding, I don't know. I don't know. But we should practice these things, these climate control measures, these taxes, these laws that are being put in place, these moratoriums where you can't have evaporative coolers in your house. You can't have swamp coolers. You can't have those things. Let's get rid of natural gas. Let's get rid of gas. Let's put everything on the electrical grid. Not to say that it takes kilowatts of energy to charge a car. And if you're not familiar with what a damn kilowatt is, you can maybe power an entire city block with a kilowatt of energy. This is how much power it takes to charge your car. Now, if you're going to go across country, you imagine sitting in a line behind people that are there for 40 plus minutes to charge their vehicles? It's not like a 5-minute gas station stop. You get 300 miles to the gallon. You better hope and pray between here and wherever you're going that you have not only the right charging station, but that they have the right adapter in that charging station. And not to mention the fact that when these cars do fail up and they're, put in junkyards or wherever, those things are toxic. And they remain toxic for many, many years to come. Many, many years to come, because the car is essentially a battery. Now, let's not forget the fact that our automakers like the UAW and these people are going to lose so many workers. Because why? Because it takes a lot less people in a plant to put together an EV than it does an internal combustion engine car. Well, the truck drivers union has just recently over in California had a bill vetoed that would have allowed autonomous trucks, that means a truck with no driver, to bring all the goods into California. And the funny thing is that the union was for it. The crazy thing is that Gavin Newsom vetoed the bill. I don't know what that means, folks. I don't know what that means. It's made me scratch my head for the longest. How in the hell Gavin Newsom is the one that put a stop to that? I would think just the opposite. But like I said, I'm honest, and the guy did veto the bill. But my question is this. If a union only represents the worker, who was the union protecting by saying that we would allow autonomous trucks to do the driving as opposed to a driver? It's a question that I've had since I read the bill in the articles on this particular issue that no one's been able to answer for me. What do? You just sit somebody in the truck that babysits the truck as it drives itself? And if so, I mean, I don't understand. I do not understand. It's like most Democratic or left-wing issues. Most of them I just don't get. I don't understand. It's like deifying George Floyd after, he whatever happened. Well, we know what happened now because Tucker Carlson released the info, and it seems like that they have a guaranteed absolute conclusion by the coroner who actually did the autopsy, who came out and said the guy's larynx weren't crushed. That's not conjecture, folks. That's true. But the people are so afraid to do what's right. And I'm not taking up for Derek Chauvin. Don't ever get that twisted. I think that the guy who did what he did it out of, with pride and ego and all that. And I know they had a history, but to say that he murdered him was absolutely foul. It's wrong. It's wrong in every way, shape, or form. It's completely wrong. And we have the evidence that 100% backs that up. But you have a chicken shit political or legal system at this point that knows turning that man free, even though that's exactly what they should do. Although he should never be a cop ever again in his life. He should never have that kind of authority over people again because he is an asshole. But did he kill that man? No. And let me tell you something else about that guy. Here's the same guy who dressed up like a utility worker the months prior and went in and tied a woman to a chair in her home as he burglarized her. There's a guy sitting in the back of the cop car eating fentanyl tablets to try to get rid of them. This was George Floyd. This was George Floyd. And The sign on George Floyd Memorial Park had rules for white people. I don't know how many of you know this, but there's literally a sign on a placard there. It says rules for white people. I mean, the left has always seemingly stood up to fight for equality, but they never really fought for equality. They like to throw this word around now, equity. And what does it mean? It's an assured outcome, not an assured opportunity. So, you're talking about, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just reading these comments here. So, Sherry, you're talking about the judges prosecuting the attorneys funded by Soros. Does that include the ones that were fired for not doing their jobs, like literally not doing their jobs, like that one in Atlanta, like that had to resign for literally not even coming to work? She didn't even show up. When they said that she got fired for not doing the job, I thought that was a euphemism. I thought they were speaking figuratively, but literally the lady was getting a paycheck and never showed up. Didn't even come, didn't do anything. Got fired, as she should have. But you have Gascon and others over in California that are doing the same thing. Like you have one guy who was a damn pedophile over in California. They didn't sentence him until he was in his 20s. He was in his 20s by the time they got around to sentencing him. And they allowed him to do his time in a juvenile facility. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. There were media outlets that were told that they couldn't dead name the Nashville shooter. And you had a DOJ and local authorities in Nashville guarding the manifesto because we know what it says. We know exactly what it says. And I agree with you, Sherry. Yes. And you know, in order for this to for these things to actually be able to take place, you have to have people in certain positions of authority either be ignorant to or silent in the face of these atrocities that we see happening. You have the unaccompanied minors coming across the southern border used to be matched up with people and family members and that on this side of the fence, or what should be a fence across the whole damn thing. They used to be matched up with family members and that over here. We knew that because we took their DNA and we used to match them with people, and we knew where they were. We knew who they were, and that's how we did it. Well, we don't do it that way anymore. And there were several people who made it known that this administration changed the rules to expedite the amount of kids that are coming across the border to get them out of their facilities quicker and into the United States. Now, as a result, thousands of kids are in places where they don't even know where they are. The workers in the report said that they were forced to hand these kids over to people that they didn't know. And so they actually quit and protest and went public with what they knew. I don't understand how it is that in a very short period of time, I'm talking about a decade and a half, 2 decades worth of time, I saw the values of our country just completely invert. It's okay to be anti-Semitic. It's okay for the younger generation to treat older people with no respect. We don't care about our legacy anymore. Children are very quick to say, "It's my life. I do what I want. I do what I want. It's my life." It sounds like a damn Maury Povich episode. I do what I want, right? No. When we were growing up, we damn sure didn't want to go do anything that was going to shine bad on mom and dad. Our last name had connotations that meant something to us, and we did anything that would not bring shame on our family. We wanted to succeed. We wanted to do better. We wanted our name up in lights. We didn't care. We just wanted to crush it, and we wanted to go be the CEO, COO, owner, whatever the hell it was. We wanted to do that so that our name meant something and it meant something good. We wanted to go down in history. We wanted something bigger than us. These kids don't want a damn thing. These kids want everything handed to them. They want to go to the Bureau of High Paying Jobs, stand in line and just get it from the start. They keep talking about raising the minimum wage. Well, but what they're not talking about are the people that work for years to get to the wage that they want to start out at. Let's take McDonald's, for instance. You have people working at McDonald's that maybe worked for many, many years to get to a 15, 16, 17 plus dollar an hour wage. They moved up from working the cash registered, maybe assistant manager, whatever the case may be. Now, what happens when the guy walks in the front door and they're starting him out at $15, $20 an hour? Does that other guy get a like raise to 35? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. These are jobs meant for high school kids. These are starter jobs, entry-level jobs meant for high school kids as a way to give them experience in the workplace. It was never meant for you and me to get out there and go to McDonald's and work in our 40s and 50s and pay our damn car and house note and buy food and pay our bills from working at McDonald's. That's not what those jobs were intended to be. Now, if you make it to manager and all that kind of stuff, good luck to you. Because, yeah, you can do all of that at a managerial level within a fast food chain. Absolutely. I know people will do it. But if you're flipping burgers, you're not supposed to have a Porsche or pay your damn mortgage based off of just being able to flip. And that's the quiet part that no one wants to say out loud. That's the quiet part no one wants to say out loud. There is a sense of entitlement in our country that definitely needs to be dealt with. What does it say? Soft men raise soft children, hard men raise, it's true. It's absolutely true. If you're walking, your kids will be driving. If you're driving, they'll be walking. There has to be some balance. We have to be more intentional with the way we raise our kids, because all too often we just want to keep them from getting hurt, and the rest we allow to happen organically. But we don't take the time to sit our kids down in the living room and give them life lessons on a regular. You think they just go to school and sit down in that classroom and that teacher takes care of teaching your kids? Well, is that the person that you want doing it today? Because those people are all agenda driven, and those people are usually very political. And we have several instances across the entirety of the United States where you have secret LGBTQ clubs, and you have laws like AB 665 and NY 213. AB 665 especially allows for things to happen with school guidance counselors and social workers across the board for children in California specifically, that will absolutely fly in the face of a parent's right to raise their child the way that they deem fit. Because it even goes as far as protecting someone. So let's say you live in Texas and your kid identifies trans and they're 12 years old. 12. That's the minimum age is 12, right? So they're 12 years old. You live in Texas and they have a friend. They could be older, younger, it doesn't matter, that sees this situation. And maybe this kid is afraid to tell his or her parents what they're going through. So this friend can take this child from that state, take them all the way to California to get their gender affirmed. That's kidnapping, right? No. In California, they will protect the individual who takes the child from their mother in a different state, escorts them across state lines to California in order to go there and put a child into a residential program where they will help affirm the child's gender. If you think I'm making it up, just Google AB 665, Assembly Bill 665. It's atrocious. It's atrocious. And the reason why they get away with saying these things and doing these things is because we're quiet. We're quiet. If there's a New Year's resolution that every one of you guys watching should actually take, is to stop being quiet. Stop being silent in the face of what you see happening outside. Find like-minded people, get involved. If your senators and congressmen and assemblymen and your city council, your school boards all know who you are, and they know how many you are, and they know that you know what they're doing, and you're going to hold them accountable, they will stop doing it. They I promise you they will. They will. But as long as you're completely silent, you are completely complicit. Minding your business and raising your kids used to be like some kind of thing that people would say as a way to make it seem like they're not in it. No, you're part of it. If you're quiet and you just sit on lines, I don't vote, it don't matter anyway. No, you're a part of the problem. You're a part of the problem. We can't be silent anymore. We cannot not take action anymore. We need to stand up and fight for something. You need to believe in something. And if you believe in it, if you really believe in it, if you really care about it, you'll fund whoever it is that you want for Senate, for Congress. You'll show up to the rallies. You'll show up to vote. You'll make sure the people around you know what's going on, know exactly what's going on, and know who you're going to vote for, so that you can try to entice people to vote the right way too. The one thing that the left does, and the left does well, is they get these people that are out there and they're community organizers, and they get out there and they do these things at a grassroots level, and they get everyone involved. That's the one thing they actually do well. The one thing. And if there's any play that we need to take out of their playbook, it's that one. That's the only one. The rest of that shit they can have. I'm telling you right now that we outnumber them by a lot. By a lot. Believe it or not, when you see those people out there on the TV marching down the street, and you look at how many they are as they wave their pro-Palestinian flags and all that, and you see how many, look at that and realize we still dwarf them. We still dwarf them by a lot. Still by a lot. The difference in the two sides is one side says, I don't got time for that. I got stuff to do. I got a family to raise. I got bills to pay. And the other side says, I ain't got nothing to do. I'm going to watch Jerry Springer and drink red Kool-Aid so I can go out and hit the streets. I can get some of this Soros money or whatever, whoever the hell's paying these people to protest. Because that's what's going on. That's exactly what's going on. Foreign money enters the shores of the United States in many forms and hits these institutions of higher learning, and then that gets transferred to your kids in the form of a Marxist education. That's what happens. It happened at the local school board level. We've had superintendents fire the entire school board in states. That's happened. Literally happened when they couldn't answer a specific question. Why is China giving you money, and what are you giving them for it? MIT, Champaign, Illinois University, as well as UC Berkeley, have all received money from communist China, and none of them to date, when asked exactly what they're giving in turn for the money they're receiving, none of them are willing to answer that question. You just had several hundred people in Harvard stand up for the president of Harvard, Professor Gay, and protect her in the face of the anti-Semitic stance that she took when she was testifying before Congress. Good. I'm glad that you felt so comfortable that you put your name down on a piece of paper saying that you agree with her. Keep that same energy for the next administration, because we're gunning for you. We're coming for you. You're not going to have a job. And the funding that you receive from a federal level, that's gone. That's absolutely gone. That's how we're going to get them, folks. We're going to defund the hell out of them. We're going to defund them at every single turn. We're going to defund Planned Parenthood. We're going to fix the FBI. We're going to find out what role the intelligence community is really playing in this stuff that we're watching happen to our president. And we're going to put an end to it. And that's why you see them up in arms. That's why you see them taking these positions that they're taking. That's why they're doing everything in their power to try to get Trump off the ballot. Why? Because they're scared. They're scared. Their power is at risk. And I'm not talking about the power of the left. I'm talking about the power of the elites that permeates both right and left. I'm talking about rhinos as well as liberals. There's really not much difference. I mean, globalists are globalists. It's that simple. But yes, that's what's going to happen. And they know it. They know it, and they're scared of it. And these little death rattles that you're seeing, taking them off of the ballot in Colorado, taking them off of the ballot. Well, they tried to do it in California. It didn't work out. And now Maine. All these little things, whenever you see them, just crack a smile and know it's because they're losing. It's because they know they're going to lose. It's because no matter what they do, it doesn't matter what they do. If they don't let the people decide who's gonna be in that office, the people will never, ever, ever respect the system ever again. They will know it's 100% fallible and fixed. They will know that their choice is a false one, that they were not given. They were not given an actual choice. They were presented with false choices, and it didn't matter who they chose. They're going to realize this. That's what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. I've never saw us go down a hole this deep as a country. But I do believe the sun will come up again. It absolutely will. The son's name is Trump. And he's coming. And the storm is coming. And there's nothing you can do. There's absolutely nothing you can do. The storm is coming for you guys. Right and left alike. You globalist establishment, liberal, Marxist, communist, fascist cronies, your days are numbered. Your days are numbered. Freedom is on the march. And we're gunning for you. We're coming for you. It's going to happen. And there's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing you can do about this. They absolutely 100%, Sherry. They have been planning this for decades, and they would have been further along except for this unknown variable popped out of the just ether, and they had no idea it was going to happen, and they had it in mind for Hillary to win this election, and they already knew where they were going to take it from that point forward. That is my assumption, my belief, based on the facts that we know, based on the things that we saw happen, and they couldn't correct enough for the curve that happened on that election day. And what ended up is we ended up with Trump as president, and they were like, oh shit, what do we do now? And then there was a 4-year coup attempt on a president that was constantly being lied upon and trying to be taken down by everyone around him, who did more in a 4-year stint as president than I have seen people do with full 2 terms. Hell, he probably did more in his first 2 years than they've done in 8. It's not going to be what you think it is from this point forward, because there is no way forward that doesn't include Donald Trump. And that's the truth. 80 plus million people in the United States. And if you think you're going to get the ones who didn't vote last time not to vote this time, you're out of your mind. We're all going to vote. I guarantee you most people are going to carpool to the we're going to make a day out of it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. There's no Nikki Haley. There's no Ron DeSantis. There's no Chris Krispy Kreme. Hell, man, none of those people could hold a candle to Donald Trump. Every one of those people are backstabbing, betraying pieces of, and I mean that. They all owe their current careers to Donald Trump, with the exception of, Chris Christie was around prior, but he just sour grapes because Donald Trump wouldn't give him a cabinet position. Nikki Haley should be thanking Trump but she's not. She was broke. The establishment bailed her out. The war machine bailed her out. The military industrial complex bailed her out. And now she's sitting pretty as a millionaire, backed by millionaires and billionaires, to try to undermine the presidential, undermine President Trump's candidacy and to try to overthrow it. It's not going to happen. But I love their attempts at trying to tell you that it is. I love how they keep putting out there in the polls, oh, she's gaining. Gaining what? I mean, 50 points less than Trump is gaining? Like, no, it's not. It's not. But they think that if they can continue to lie to you guys long enough, if they keep repeating the same lie over and over and over again, that Mockingbird Media, remember, that eventually you'll believe it. You'll believe it, and you'll accept the fact that they tried to tuck Nikki Haley in there at the very last minute on some technicality as okay, because they told you how popular she was with Republicans when it's not true. It's not true. I've never met anyone in my life that's voting for Nikki Haley. Not one. And you know that it was phony when the girls on The View started taking up for Nikki Haley. You knew it was a damn psyop the moment Joyce Behar comes out of her mouth with the fact that she likes Nikki Haley. She's a fighter. Yeah. And you're an op because no one believes you. No one believes you, and no one believes the rest of that echo chamber talking head group that you got on that show. They're a bunch of clowns. They're absolute clowns. I did like it when I saw Tim Scott go on The View and how he dealt with that. He was very presidential, and he made them look really silly at the way that he used a respectful tone to completely combat what they were saying and put them in their place. However, he put his hand up when they said the thing about the elections and Trump and about pardoning Trump and all that. He was not, when he push come to shove, he was on the wrong side. He would have been on the wrong side of history. I really liked him. I did. I honest to God, I did. I thought that he's a very respectful guy, very intelligent guy, smart guy. And I saw him put out bills after the Floyd thing for police reform. And, you know, I saw a lot of good in him until he was pushed right up against the wall in the corner. And then the answers that came out of his mouth were just ones that I couldn't live with. I just couldn't live with him. Sherry says that President Trump is my president. Yeah. Democrats not in the Constitution. We are a democratic republic, folks. We are not a democracy. There is a big difference between the two. A democratic republic respects the individual. It's the rule of law, and it respects the individual, the individuality of a person. Democracy is mob rule. So can you imagine a world where we don't have an electoral college? We have millions of people running across our southern border, and every election would be decided by New York and California. The people in between wouldn't matter. Doesn't matter how you vote or what you think. Because the way that our system is set up, it says that no taxation without representation, where I would take that both ways. One, I would say, okay, no taxation without representation. So if you pay taxes, you should have a vote, right? That's plain and simple. I don't care about your history, about whatever. I completely believe that's BS. I believe if you worked and you pay taxes, you should have a say, right? That's just an American thing. If you pay your taxes, you put in on this, you should have a say. But I also believe that if you didn't pay taxes and you're sitting home collecting entitlements and you didn't put in on this, guess what? You don't get a say. You don't get to go vote. What? So that you continue to vote for the guy that continues to give you entitlements? This is exactly what happened in Rome. Why do you think Rome fell? There were people in Rome that weren't allowed to quit their jobs because people who didn't have one were depending on them. We're seeing the same thing happen now. We see a system that is incentivizing people all the way down to offering bills that include universal basic income. In a free country, you are not only free to succeed, but you are free to fail. You're free to fail. You can fail. Your neighbor is not your responsibility. And if you give to something, you should do it willingly. 100% willingly. IRS, I agree, Sherry, is a completely illegal entity. And the reason why I say that is because the 16th Amendment, according to many historians, was never even ratified, right? You need 2/3 vote of the Union to ratify a bill. They didn't have it, but they did it anyway. And what? And yeah, people like Ron Paul, who's my political hero. I absolutely love Ron Paul. He is the guy who literally told me everything I need to know about the monetary system in the United States. He's the one who broke it down better than anyone else, how it actually works. And the Constitution as well. I mean, they called him Dr. No for a reason. This guy was an amazing leader in his day. I was always hoped that Rand Paul would be more of a chip off a block than his dad. He's just not Ron, though. He's just not Ron. I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. I do. But he's not Ron. He's not his dad. That's for sure. His dad never lost a debate. You believe that? I mean, a guy, every debate he was in, every presidential debate, everything, he won every damn debate he was in. He was the most popular Republican candidate at his time. He sold out Madison Square Gardens to give a speech. And he was robbed of the nomination for the Republican nomination for president, in my opinion. It's not in my opinion. It's actually a fact. The delegates proved that. But, I mean, that was the same way that Bernie Sanders was robbed by Hillary Clinton back in the day. But this is what they do. These are good old boy clubs. The National Republic, both good old boy clubs. The RNC and the DNC are good old boy clubs. Meaning they can hear your votes. They can listen to everything you say as a voter. They can listen to it all. And then they hear once they hear it all, they can say, yeah, thanks for your opinion, but we're going that way. Because they're not a government entity. They can pick whatever nominee they want, no matter who you voted for. And keep in mind, for the DNC, if you remember a guy over there by the name of Seth Rich, a guy that was murdered, and not too long after the Hillary Clinton scandal had started, and the Julian Assange deal happened, where the emails were leaked, and it were leaked from inside of the DNC, and Seth Rich was the one that is rumored to have leaked all of that data and given it to people like Assange and others. That's a pervasive the rumor that's out there. But now the man is lost his life. Julian Assange is in prison for I don't even know what. You can't give there. No one that has no charge. He's in there for telling the truth. He's in, like, what law did he break? I mean, he tried to throw all these allegations against him about some sexual assault that turned out not to be true. According to the interview that I saw between Roseanne Barr, Tucker Carlson, and those guys not long ago, Pompeo actually tried to have him killed while he was in the Ecuadorian embassy, tried to have him poisoned. And yet Pompeo is still walking around today. And it's nuts to me that it's just crazy to me that this guy is still sitting in prison for doing what any responsible citizen should do. When you see the government not living up to the standard they would have you live up to, it's up to you to say something. It's up to you to do something. We need people like Assange. We need people like Tucker Carlson. We need people like Bongino. We need these people. Charlie Kirk, Steven Crowder. We need these people. Why? Because they're the ones that are willing to go out there and say the quiet part out loud. It's why I do it. It's why I'll continue to do it. I would do it no matter what. Now, I've when I take stances on these sorts of things, I tell people all the time. I've told Jobs, fire me if you don't like the way that I am or who I am, then I'll whatever. You can't cancel me. You cannot cancel me because I won't allow it to happen, and neither should you. You shouldn't either. Don't allow anyone to make you quiet. Yeah, he was, Sherry. Julian Assange was the owner, operator, however, of WikiLeaks. Now, I see your comment. You say you know Seth. Do you personally know Seth Rich? Is that what you're saying? Because that would be interesting. I would love to know if you actually were in contact or you knew him. Yeah, that is something that I don't think anyone has done to date, is we haven't really dug into the person of Seth Rich. Oh, okay. Yeah. We really need someone to talk to friends, family, and do a really in-depth look at this guy and find out who he really is and what he really believed. There's no way he went to the lengths that he did to do what he did, and no one knows why or the reason why he said. There's somebody knows something somewhere, and we need to figure out who that individual is, and we need to get that information brought into the light. But that's enough for today. Hey, guys, I really do appreciate you taking the time to spend this with me. I don't know what platform you guys are on, whether it be X, YouTube, Facebook. Come check us out. Facebook had to make us create a new Facebook page because they're just such great people. So it's the Patriots Prayer Podcast over on Facebook. Please take the time to come over and join the new page. We're trying to get a reach back where it was, and I can't do that without you. Also, the Patriots Prayer on YouTube, as well as on X at the Patriots Pray. At the Patriots Pray. Like, follow, subscribe everywhere, guys. We only do this because we absolutely need to do it. We need to keep being loud. We need to stay in front of these cameras. We need to keep putting the truth out there because this is an information war. And the revolution has begun. Won't you join me? It's that simple. Won't you join me? So join us everywhere you see us on social media. And guys, as always, the silent majority, you need to stop being silent and stand your ground. We'll see you next time on the Patriots Prayer Podcast. You guys have a great day and a great weekend.